Hey, it's David K., voice of Beast Wars Megatron and TFA Optimus. You're listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
You're listening to All Things Transformers, version 2.0.
This is a warning to all who oppose me. Yes, you are listening to the Transformers Dark of the Moon discussion. Spoilers will be abroad. If you haven't seen this film, you must do so immediately. Yes. Your hosts, Steve Megatron, TFG1 Mike, Pecan Court Michael, and Kevin Optimus Solo Thompson will be delivering the news to you on the movie and discussing everything in between. We will kill them all.
Hello and welcome to All Things Transformers version 2.0 episode 11. I am your split personality host Steve Megatron Phillips. Joining me for this very explorative discussion are my usual class band of GCRN idiots.
Yeah, and it's not what it says in the script, damn it.
I know, I changed it to hosts. From hosts.
Okay. TFG and Mike, hello.
Hello.
Hello, it's Optimus Solo, or as Mike just termed me earlier in the day, Optimus. What do you call me?
Optimus asshole.
Yes.
Very nice.
And of course, that's the voice of Michael Wilson.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, how's it going?
I was gonna say, yeah, you gotta wait till he does his little catchphrase thing.
I know,
Yes,
I
I
didn't
know.
get that in there. Hey, how's it going? That's how
Before Steve really starts, I do have to say one thing. This is the first time in the reformatted version of ATTF that Kevin and Michael have actually been on an episode.
Together.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same.
Together again.
Yes.
Just the two of
In a
us.
case. Wow.
I see we beat it last. At first, at last.
How about second and third? Nope, those don't count. Yes, and of course, today we are going to be discussing Transformers Dark of the Moon.
We're discussing Pink Floyd.
They do drop that reference in the movie.
Several times.
If only they would have had a wall somewhere in there.
Are you talking about the third wall? I can't get out. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a basic rundown, starting off with the box office.
Good old
Would
box
anybody
office.
care to review?
Well, so far it's been doing pretty dang good. I think it's just broke the top 50 of all time. It's at like 49 or 45 or something. So,
It's the highest grossing film so far.
of this year, yeah.
Yeah. Of 2011, yeah.
I was seeing something like 660 odd million total.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if it's opened in China yet. So they're
That's a
still
good
they're
point.
still expecting like money to come in from China and Japan, and they're saying that if the whole thing doesn't get derailed completely, by the last Harry Potter movie, which comes out at midnight tonight, then Dark of the Moon could be looking at over $1 billion gross.
Currently-
Domestic-wise, it's at 277, which puts it 49th domestically. It's getting ready to catch Meet the Fockers.
And worldwide, it's at $693 million. And it's
Yes.
number 45 on the list, just below Twilight Eclipse.
Oh god.
and
Please.
above that is Transformers, the first film.
Yeah.
And then above that is Twilight New Moon.
So it's easily going to pass the first film worldwide.
Yes.
And it should pass the second one.
We can
The second
hope.
one's at 836, and it's at 693, so if it can squeak out 200 more, and I mean, it's only in its second week, or third week now, I guess. So it has some time. I mean, I know they peter off pretty quickly, but it's still pretty young. I mean, Harry Potter will take some from it, but it'll keep going for a little while.
How long do you think it'll be until they hit the 1 billion mark, or close to it, before it gets booted out of the theater?
Well, I don't see it getting booted out right away. I mean, I know Harry Potter is taking a lot of screens, and I know Captain America will be coming out and taking some screens, etc. But I want to say the second one had about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks before it started to drop, like big time, and it was still making $1 million into its like 10th or 12th week. So I mean, this one's only in week 3. So I'd say it gets another 100 million by 2 weeks. In 2 weeks.
I think that's a pretty fair assessment.
Yeah.
And to preface this, I still have not actually seen it in the theater. I will be doing that Saturday. I've watched it twice bootleg.
Oh, not in 3D?
I will not see a movie in 3D. I would pay to see it in IMAX before I'd see it in 3D.
Go see it. Well, it's IMAX 3D. Go see it at the IMAX in 3D.
No.
IMAX
I
doesn't give you the
despise
option.
the 3D. I will not do 3D.
It's really cool.
And it hurts my eyes.
It's worth it. So worth it.
It's worth the hurt of your eye.
We don't need a blind Megatron. Thank you very much.
I'll buy that 2D glasses that looks like 3D glasses. And
oh, since we're talking about 3D stuff,
because they have this in 3D, Real D, and IMAX, and 2D.
Yeah, since we're talking about 3D stuff, did you guys see the the Dark of the Moon Transformers 3D glasses?
No.
Would that be the Optimus Prime mask?
No. Let me see if I can find it here.
Oh, those $200 sunglasses?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you
Those
shitting me?
Hold on.
No, they're really sharp. They look really cool.
You guys keep going. I'll
The downside
I'll
is
look
that
for the link here.
yeah, the downside is that they're $200. But I think they're made by like Oakley or something. They normally makes really, really nice sunglasses.
Yeah.
So what I don't understand though is the 3D sunglasses that you get in the theater, they specifically say on the little piece of plastic they come in, does not protect from UV radiation, do not wear sunglasses. And yet you have this company who's making sunglasses that double as 3D glasses, and it makes me wonder just how, effective they're going to be protecting your eyes. Or do you just wear these in the theater?
Or maybe that's why they're $200.
Because you would be the coolest looking guy in the theater.
Until you went outside and became blind as a bat.
Nobody wearing 3D glasses in the theater looks cool.
Well, you really don't look cool if you've got a big Optimus Prime mask on half your head.
I would wear one of those.
I considered buying that. I did.
Okay, now I believe I just sent you guys the link to the glasses on BigBadToyStore.com. They're up for pre-order, and they're not coming out until the third quarter of the year this year. But the price is $224.99. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Big Bad Toy Store. I understand they have to have markup, but I believe someone else got these for like $85, $90, something like that. From $80 to $224. That's a huge markup.
That is.
Yeah.
just for some 3D glasses that you're only going to use once.
Well, I mean, you can
No,
take it back to every movie
No,
you
you
go
can
to.
use it.
Yeah, these are real D compatible. You could take them to any movie. But I mean, you really have to see a lot of movies to make this worth it. And
Oh,
to be
yeah.
honest, they're not going to give you a discount at the theater if you bring your own glasses.
No, they're not.
It's
So
not
what
like,
you do is you
oh,
pay for 2D and then you walk into the 3D.
Yes.
I think someone I know from TF Wire did that.
Hey, in college, I used to always go to see 2 movies, but we won't go into that.
And it's not a drive-in either.
Exactly.
So I think we've drilled that into the ground. I think we'll jump into the a quick, very quick overall overview of the story.
Dun
All
dun
your-
dun.
It's all yours, Mike. Botch it away.
Fuck you.
Everybody else sit back and enjoy.
Yeah. The basic gist of it is it centers around the United States-Russian space race, but instead of just having it the space race, they mark it around an event of one of the Cybertronian ships crashing. And then, of course, we have to rescue Sentinel Prime, but it turns out that Sentinel Prime switches sides. Hello, Galvatron. Megatron is still a bitch in this movie.
And was even name called as so.
Yeah.
I do disagree with you calling Sentinel Prime Galvatron, though.
No, he's
But-
more. Damn it.
Okay, well, what I mean by that is it's the fact that it's fucking Leonard Nimoy, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the first thing I
Gotcha.
hear is. I know Sentinel Prime, the character in the movie, is not Galvatron, but just the after
Megatron
the
is
twist-
almost.
Not really.
Yeah, he is. The insane version of Megatron. It's kind of like Galvatron.
No, he's more like the burnt Anakin Skywalker.
You know, I got to give the writers credit this time around because the Decepticons actually have a sneaky plan. Like it's all this, it's conspiracy done right instead of throwing giant asses up in our faces in IMAX.
I think we get that anyway.
No, not in this movie. We don't.
Yes, we do. Except this time
Okay,
it's a
well,
nice
all right,
ass.
well, giant male asses from Sector 7. Okay, are you happy now?
I was happier seeing her ass up on this.
I
one.
know exactly, but that's my point. You don't have John Turturro's ass blazoned across the screen this time around. Thank God. It's all about getting these pillars to make the space bridge, which I don't know.
The space bridge to bring Cybertron to Earth.
It's basically a G1 episode, is what this movie is.
And the human that helps him is like Dr. Arkeville.
But a more badass version of Dr.
Not
Arkeville.
quite.
But he's a
old.
very rich
That's
version
true.
that doesn't look like a fugly mad scientist.
Right.
We'll
So
start-
basically, it's also got Mike's favorite character Sam trying to convince everybody that the Autobots aren't bad.
It's a rehashed G1 plotline. There you go.
The speaking of G1, I was reading a review that Walkie did, and he spelled it all out here. Basically, Megatron's master plan is
Yeah.
about the human traitor and the Autobots being forced to leave Earth by a spaceship, and then the ultimate doom was Decepticons want to bring Cybertron to Earth, and
Yeah.
then at some point you've got Megatron sitting in the Lincoln Memorial instead of Lincoln, which is a scene right out of Atlantis Arise.
Yeah.
So you've got all these G1. I mean, they literally just spread out a bunch of G1 episodes in front of them and picked some really, really cool bits and put them all into their script.
And there's some comic reference in here as well.
Plenty.
Not only did they use the Autobots having to leave the planet and blowing up the ship in G1, they used it in the Dreamwave G1 comics.
Yeah. And
Oh,
Sentinel
that
Prime's basically straight out of the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Sentinel's basically like Nova Prime. Nova Prime sided with the Decepticons and became evil and so that he could unite their race or whatever and keep them so they could survive. That's what the gist of that is. It's the same story with that.
Huh.
And then Megatron being scrapped, and in his kind of like hillbilly way that he's got in this film, reminds me of one of the issues of the G1 Marvel comics, where he's kind of just floating around. He's got all this power and energy and everything, but he's just kind of there.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have the rest of the plot with like we said, the Autobots going off in the shuttle, it exploding. We later find out they're not on it, even though we obviously knew that they weren't going to be on it. And then it's just a race, basically, between the Autobots and the humans against the Decepticons as far as trying to stop them from bringing Cybertron to Earth and destroying Earth. That's the gist of the plot. I think there's nothing much more to say.
Yep.
Not a whole lot of plot. It's kind of a cobbled together, storyline that's meant mostly to bring a bunch of robots on screen to fight each other.
And everything we just said was in the first 60 minutes, and then the rest of the movie is the last battle.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much.
They destroyed Chicago.
That
It's
might
like
be the best part of the movie.
It's
That
like
is the
watching,
longest battle ever.
It's like War of the Worlds. Where's Tom Cruise when you need him?
Yeah. That was quite the long battle scene, that's for sure.
Now, talking about the battle scene really quick before we move on, Michael, did you get to see any of the filming of that?
I saw some filming in Chicago. I'm not sure which parts it was. I remember around the time that I was in Chicago, they were showing pictures, on like TFW, of Patrick Dempsey and Shia LaBeouf fighting, and this is toward the end of the movie where he's like, "You picked the wrong side," and he's kicking him off this concrete thing.
Oh, okay, cool.
At the end. Now I didn't see that, but I knew they were filming that like the day before I got there. And yeah, Christy and I were just kind of walking along, and it's like, what the heck's going on over there at the bridge? And they had the whole thing closed off, and you could see the 3D cameras up on cranes. And it was
Nice.
really neat, but we didn't actually see what was being filmed. We just saw a bunch of people running and explosions.
I just remember hearing from all my friends, because I'm only about an hour and a half from Chicago, but I just remember hearing from all my friends that live in Chicago how pissed they were that they couldn't get anywhere. Like, we can't get around the
Because
city.
everything was closed, yeah. I remember my bus route that went right down, oh heck, what's the name of that street?
Michigan.
It went right down like the middle of the loop.
Oh, yeah.
And all that was closed so they could film on it. And it was weird how, that you would see an Autobot or something driving down a street, and it's like, I recognize that street. And then they turn a corner, and they're driving down another street, and it's like, I recognize that street too, and it's on the other side of the loop. They make it look like you turn the corner and he's there, but that's not really how the city's laid out. Movie magic,
Yes, movie magic. As far as first impressions for me, and I'm going to say this not a lot in this episode, but I'm going to say at least twice. And, we'll get into it more later in M-Wire special episodes, but anything is better than Revenge of the Fallen. Anyway.
Disagree.
Anyway, let's not go there. But
let's not go there.
I went into this really cautiously optimistic. Everything, because as we're recording a Transformers podcast, we are up on the news a lot of the time. So, and we've reported on the news since the movie was announced. So everything I had seen up to the point of going to actually see the movie, I was excited for. There wasn't anything that I saw that I was like, oh, holy hell, what has Michael Bay done now to that giant metal bug?
Just like Starscream.
I know. I was waiting for you to laugh at that.
Yeah. The in
But-
jokes, they're coming to get you.
Yes. I really enjoyed this. I didn't go into it with too many expectations. We all know Michael Bay movies don't revolve around story. They revolve around explosions and military jets. I will say a couple of things. I'm not trying to go too far ahead of here, but I really liked that they super toned down Simmons. I really liked. This is probably the only movie that I've actually liked Megatron. I like the fact that they turned him into a truck because it looked hell of a lot cooler than the jets he was in the two previous films.
Yeah, he looks really, really cool. I mean, I was just complaining, and this was well, like a week ago, we were complaining about movie Megatron for one reason or another, and I basically said that he looked like a big mess of tinfoil that somebody scrunched up and kind of maneuvered into the vague shape of a humanoid, and he was just all pointy bits and didn't look like anything.
Yeah.
But now he does. I mean, he's still kind of got that Megatron face, which is, all teeth and big red eyes, but he's got a body that looks like it could possibly be a Transformer.
Yeah.
As most of the characters that are introduced in the third one does. I think they finally learned their lesson about jagged metal edges.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't tell what's going on in the movie. But I don't know. I think he looks badass, and I just sent out images today on Twitter of Jin Sayatomi had did a custom of that Mack Truck Megatron, and it just looks awesome.
Yeah, it does.
It might be one of my favorite Megatrons.
He replied to us and said, "It's on eBay if you want to bid."
I know.
And I looked at it. It was like $190 something.
Oh, it was $220 when I checked it. I was like, whoa, it's cool, but it's just in my pocketbook is screaming. And the sad thing is that I hate saying that this is my, one of my favorite Megatrons because it looks so cool, but it's a movie design, and historically I've hated the movie designs.
Yeah, well, on toys, yeah. We'll get to that a little bit later. What about you, Kevin? What are your first impressions?
I mean, I was very happy that I avoided all knowledge of any. I mean, the only thing I knew going into this movie was that Shockwave and Sentinel Prime would be in it at some point. I avoided all spoilers, all rumors, everything, and I was very happy I did that. I went into this movie with absolutely no opinion. I wasn't optimistic. I wasn't pessimistic. I just was going to see a summer action blockbuster and let's see what I thought about it. But I left the movie very happy, very entertained, and I'll stick with my quote from Twitter from when I saw it: every Transformers movie has been better than the previous.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. What about you, Michael? What were your first impressions when you first saw it?
I really liked it. I mean, I had no reason not to like it. I was kind of under the impression that they were going to do better this time than they did the second time.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Bay had basically come out in public and said, yeah, I kind of screwed that last one up, but the next one's going to be really good, I promise. And so I was taking him at his word, and I was going in saying this is going to be pretty cool. Now, like I said, there's not a whole lot of story, but it's big on action, and there was a lot to like, and especially for G1 fans, there's a lot more to like here than there was in the last movie, and even probably a little more to like here than there was even in the first movie. Even though Optimus Prime didn't say freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
And you can't go into a movie like this expecting a story. Expecting a great story.
Exactly, right. Especially after the last debacle. I wasn't expecting anything. But it turned out really nice, and they introduced some new characters that I liked. I mean, Alan Tudyk. Tudyk?
Yeah.
Tudyk. Wash?
Tudyk.
Let's just call him Wash. Wash?
Dutch.
Yeah, Dutch.
He was awesome.
So if you're a Firefly fan or Serenity fan, then it's Wash. But he's awesome. He stole the show. Now in the last movie they tried to introduce new characters, and it's like, why is this character in here? Why Sam's college roommate? What the hell? Why is he here? He's here to be the butt of the twins jokes. The twins. Why the hell are they here? I mean, it's just one thing that could have been cut out of the movie after another. This movie was tight. I couldn't find anything that I would have preferred to have cut out.
I can. But we'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just like, I really liked it. I've heard other people complain about it, and I'm not entirely sure if they have valid complaints. Yeah, I'm just saying.
And Peg Leg Megatron, what about you?
Don't talk about me like that. I'll cut your bars off.
But anyways, yes, I did say that to you.
Just give your thoughts already.
Okay, Candy Ass. I watched the movie for the first time and found myself, because I had a bootleg copy, fast forwarding a lot.
Whoa, really?
Because it, to me, felt like it was dragging on in a lot of places. For instance, the scene with the whole scenes of Sam and his girlfriend, like, having to set up this job bullshit. Complete waste of my time. Nobody gives a fuck about Shia or the rest of the story. Give us some goddamn robots. At least with the 60s clips, that's what it was about. So I didn't have a problem with that part. I was glad when they moved past Sam being a little douchebag and got to the actual, story. And I wasn't entirely happy with Megatron, but that's a different story entirely. Although I will give you this, that this is the best portrayal of him in the 3 films so far.
Right.
It's just, yeah. But
the first movie where he had one line, and the second movie where he had
4 lines and got his face cut off.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. This movie, I liked him better than the other 2, but that still doesn't say much. Sentinel, badass. Just no way around it. Just badass.
Yeah.
As far as the battle in the city, it was fine, but I felt like I was watching Revenge of the Fallen again, where they're doing the 45-minute run to go give the Matrix to Prime.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I agree with that to the point of the building. The building leaning over like that was a constant slow burn.
Like, I was fine once they hit the ground and actually started just running with it, but it's just, it felt like it dragged in too many damn places, and it was annoying in that sense. And then the fact that they introduce these Decepticons, or they reinvent them, and they really don't get any screen time other than just to destroy shit. There's no dialogue. There's not, it's just, basically you're having an entire movie about humans. That's, I mean, I know that's what Bay went for, but it's about the robots, and the robots are almost like tertiary characters altogether.
I thought this one had more robots than any of the other movies, though.
It did?
I think it did.
But there's no story. It's not any different than Revenge of the Fallen in that sense. It's still...
Right.
They jumble too many
They have
concepts
40 new
together.
robots, but none of them actually do anything to further the story along.
No, and I mean, shit, look at Shockwave. He could have been a badass. I would have loved to have just seen him taking out Megatron and taken over.
Yeah.
I mean, he did it in the
No, they
comics.
definitely could have done more with the new characters, but I still think there was more dialogue between the Transformers than there has been in any of the movies.
No, and I will agree with that, but I think that they still fell short. I'm not going to say that it's worse than Revenge of the Fallen, because it's not, but action-wise, this is the best one. Story-wise, the first movie has that.
I don't know. I wanted to say that the reason you wouldn't like, let's say, the building scene where the building's falling over is because you didn't see it in 3D. You didn't actually say, yeah, that scene was slow, but I have a feeling that you were like, yeah, that whole scene just blew. In 3D, that's no matter how long it takes to get through or how pointless it is, because they just run up this building and then run right back down. They don't even show how they get back down. It's like, how'd they get back down?
Well, I was the one that said that, and I was forced to see this thing in 3D because the theater I went to didn't give you a goddamn choice between 2D and 3D.
But in 3D, it was awesome.
I don't see it like this is a whole other thing, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Steve. This is a whole other discussion we can have on GCR or something like that. I do not every movie I've gone to see in 3D, between having the glasses on and having them off, I see no damn difference.
I don't understand that.
The only thing the glasses do for me is they make the goddamn screen darker.
See, I don't get that. I hear that from people all the time, and I cannot understand how you can't see a difference between those.
Well,
I don't know if it's something in your eyes.
No, there's 2 different ways that it could not affect you. One, if you're colorblind.
I'm not colorblind. I have optic atrophy with nystagmatism.
Okay, well, even then, if you're, some with glasses, that's not going to help you much. But like me, I'm partially colorblind. I can't like differentiate certain colors. So when I'm looking at it through 3D, it just looks like I'm looking at different colors. I don't really see the depth. And unless you're directly in front of the screen in the middle of the theater, you're not going to get the optimal 3D that you would. Like if you're sitting at the top or the bottom, you're pretty much fucked. If you're not directly in the center, all the way around, you're not going to get the best 3D experience.
I never thought about that because I've never not been in the center of a movie theater.
We'll see, because I sit at the top
Ah,
when I go to the theater, and that's more so because I don't want people around me or more so behind me throwing shit, because I live in the ghetto and I have to put up with people's bull crap every time I go to the theater, which makes it almost not worth going. But
Yeah.
that's a side point. We went to a 3D movie that was, they had some voucher for, just free passes for everybody. And so we went, and I think it was for Despicable Me. And we sat at the top, and we're like, okay, we can't really see a damn difference in the 3D. And then as we're walking down to leave, we were in the middle, and everything was popping out.
Right.
Like for the
Now, I've noticed that in real 3D. In real 3D, if you turn your head and kind of look at the screen out of the corner of your eye, everything splits in half into two pieces. I mean, or it depends on where you are in the room, is how it's going to look. With IMAX, I don't get that. I think
No,
you can sit pretty
IMAX,
much
it's
anywhere.
because of the technology they use.
Yeah, no, IMAX 3D and real 3D are two different animals. They're two completely different sets of glasses, two completely different technologies.
If I was going to see it in 3D, though, it would have to be in IMAX. Hands
Yeah,
down,
definitely.
IMAX.
yeah.
I saw it in both, and I would say that IMAX is way better.
I guess the main point though there is, and I think I agree with Michael. If you're capable of seeing it in 3D and you can actually see the 3D-ness, then that scene isn't as bad.
Right.
I think the building scene is much better if you can actually see the 3D effects on it.
What I meant though about the building scene being a slow burn is that they don't show this. It's basically a bullet ripple matrix effect of the building falling. A building is not going to fall that slowly once it's being torn down. That's my point here.
I don't know. I think it
I
would.
can kind of see that to some extent, but again, it's they're going for the whole element of it,
Yeah, that's true.
so they're gonna do it whatever way presents itself the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely say that there were points that could have been trimmed, and
Yeah.
that
Points.
that would be one of them. And then that
Oh,
scene at the beginning.
well, or just of Sam trying to get a job.
To me that was all pointless. They could have just
Oh.
because they turned him from hero to pansy, and then
Well, it was pointless. Some parts were pointless, but they did need to set up the fact that he was no longer the hero type guy. Like he wasn't. He had fallen on bad times, and people didn't listen to him. They kind of needed something so that to set up the fact that he wasn't in with the Autobots, and like there was some distance there. I mean, I'm not saying they had to do it exactly how they did it, but there was a character development there as far as he's not the same character that he was in the past two movies.
Where
The
he's
biggest
actually trying to grow up. He's no longer a teenager. It's not a boy in his car. They're completely separated now, and he's kind of got this crappy replacement vehicle that kind of looks like Bumblebee, but it's a giant piece of shit. And
it's
even the
got the
mother's
same biatch thing in the window.
yeah, exactly. Well, even his mom says, it kind of looks like Bumblebee if Bumblebee were a giant pile of shit. I cracked up. I love the parents. I think they're awesome characters.
I think they're
Uh,
good characters, but I don't think that they needed them in here either.
I don't
They were
think
kind of a cheap cameo role.
one of my arguments about the second movie was the fact that their cameo went on far too long.
Yeah, the second
and
movie, I will agree. This was a nice, short, and sweet
Yeah,
cameo.
exactly. I think that they needed to be there, especially after Sam's car broke down and they had to drive him all over the place. But the fact is he's at his lowest point now. I mean, he's unemployed. His parents are kind of like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" His father is like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" It kind of
You're a
sucks that
loser.
you don't have a job, and and he has saved the world twice, and he just wants to be useful. And the fact is he he's not going to get that chance right off the bat. He's got to work. He's got to work his way up. He has to pay his dues, and he just doesn't feel that he has to. He's like, well, hey, I saved the world twice. What the hell, man? And you feel that. I mean, it comes across, and just before it gets too dark for him, you get John Malkovich in with the comic relief.
So yeah, I mean, I'm saying, you know, they might not have to do it as long as, you know, Steve. I get what you're saying. Maybe it was a little bit too long, but I still think part of that was needed as far as character development. So you got away from the boy in the car.
Part of it was needed, but it was way too drawn on. Like it should have been a hell of a lot shorter.
My biggest issue with the entire franchise, as far as Sam goes,
You hate
is
Shia.
no, I'm not even going there yet.
The
No,
buff.
okay, listen, I have an actual valid point here for once. Now shut up. Throughout the entire franchise, each movie, he starts off douchebag of the day. Throughout each movie, he progresses to being a better character. At the end of the first film, he had better character development. You go into Revenge of the Fallen, you take him all the way back to douchebag of the day, and then build him back. They keep taking him back and building him back up. What you should have done was make him douchebag in the first movie, build him up, keep the building going through Revenge of the Fallen and up to now to Dark of the Moon. That's my biggest problem with the character of Sam is they keep taking him back.
Right.
And as Michael said, you know, the kid has saved the world twice. Not only that, the government gave him a college education, and he went through college and did all this stuff to get educated. You telling me a kid that saved the world twice with a college degree cannot get a job? Seriously?
Yeah, it's
They
shocking.
red flagged him.
That's right. Every employer says,
They red flagged him. He's got the Obama administration behind him.
One big ass mistake, America.
God. Every employee
I'm not
says,
commenting.
"Oh, you've been flagged by the FBI, I see." And it's like, yeah, about that. You know, so I mean, they basically didn't do him any favors by having that on his permanent record. And he can't talk about it. He's under a gag order, so he can't say, "Yeah, I kind of saved the Earth that time." And you know, they can't. Yeah, he's frustrated. He's just at a bad point.
Transformers
And-
camp?
Yeah,
I
and the thing is
go
yeah,
ahead, Mike.
he spends the beginning of the movie just being a giant douchebag, and it's like, how did he get this girlfriend? I mean, this ridiculously hot girl in this ridiculously awesome apartment, and they explain how he met her, and they don't really explain why she likes him. I mean, to me, it's just Megan Fox couldn't act her way out of a paper bag, but she was damn hot, and the question becomes, how did this idiot here end up with this damn hot girl? And again, you end up with a second damn hot girl, and it's like, how did this idiot end up with this damn hot girl?
I
It
tell you
doesn't
one
make any
thing I could have
sense.
done without the entire movie is that whole goddamn bunny scene in the beginning. Oh my god.
No, because you see, she was wearing like panties and little else while she was holding the bunny.
She's like,
so
"Come play with my bunny."
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Steve,
I will take
Steve, the
the
reason
bunny.
it drew out so long, the reason the whole Sam angle drew out so long at the beginning was because they filmed their 50-minute battle scene for the end, and then they were just scrapping for shit to make it long enough to be a real movie.
Oh, okay, that makes perfect sense.
We got to come up with another hour's worth of crap. But yeah, but I agree. Scenes that she's not involved with maybe dragged more on than the ones that she was involved with, though.
Yeah. We should talk about the acting because this girl can't act either.
Better than
Okay,
Megan
so
Fox.
She's better than Megan Fox, I'll give her that.
Yeah, so we've already transitioned through the thoughts on the story, so now we're on the thoughts on the acting. For those keeping track with our rundown.
Well, Carly didn't smile through the whole movie. She didn't emote through the whole movie. She kind of looked upset. She kind of, puffed her lip out a little bit at Sam at one point when she dismembered the bunny. But other than that, she didn't really emote at all. And there's people that say online, I've read, you're right, that, the one scene where she actually did look like she was doing something, she wasn't doing anything at all. She's just kind of standing there dumbfounded as things blow up behind her. And it's like, well, that's her one look. She's standing there with her jaw open, like, oh. And shouldn't she be like going, I'm in the middle of an explosion, or holy shit, that's Megatron. I think I'll crawl in his lap and call him a bitch. She doesn't do any of that. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't emote, and it's like she's not acting at all.
Yeah.
I just didn't. I mean, she's gorgeous. Fine, I get it. He didn't hire Michael Bay. Didn't hire her because she could act. Megan Fox wasn't hired because she could act. Megan Fox was hired because she looked really good bent over Michael Bay's Ferrari. That was
Wash
her
my
audition.
car.
That's
Yeah.
exactly that was her audition. Wash my car, and she did. And he went, "Yeah, okay, you're hired." I mean, it plucked her from obscurity. Nobody knew who she was, and made her, one of the, nation's hottest actresses overnight. She couldn't handle it, and so she got replaced. This girl, Rosie
Rosie Huntington Whiteley.
Yeah. So Carly, painfully hot again, but can act. And she wasn't hired because she could act. She was hired because she's a Victoria's Secret model.
Yeah.
And she showed up for her audition in white panties.
Well,
Which,
truth be told,
ironically-
he directs them, the Victoria's Secret models. So, hence
that's right,
why.
yeah.
That's
He met
why
her
she got
because he's
involved.
directing yeah. No, that's fine. I don't mind. I realize that she's not there because she's a great actress. She's there because she's hot. You know who I really liked, and we're gonna go back to Revenge of the Fallen here. Isabella Lucas. The
Oh
girl
yeah.
who played the girl who
The
played the horny
Pretender.
pretender. Yeah, she was hot. Like
They
ridiculous.
should have had her for this film.
Hotter than either one of these two. Yeah, they should
Oh,
they
yeah.
should have brought her on board. And it was like, oh yeah. So anyway, but again, I don't think she could act either. But damn, was she hot?
I think she could have done a better job.
See, I mean, obviously nobody that's involved in this movie is doing an incredible acting job because incredible actors wouldn't sign up for Transformers movies.
Well, yeah, look at the actors they've got. They've got John Turturro. They've got
Josh
they've got
DeMille.
Tudyk.
Josh
They've got
DeMille is a great actor.
No,
They've
but I'm
got
just saying,
Shia.
like, none of
I
these
dig
guys are
him
like
for everything
Academy
he's in.
Award actors. Like, they're not. None of them are ever going to be.
the only high-profile person they've got in this entire film franchise is the voice of Megatron,
Who is Angelina Jolie's father again?
John Voight.
He was
He
in
was
the first one.
film.
He was he wasn't the president, was he? He was
Secretary of Defense.
Secretary of
Secretary of
Defense,
Defense.
which
There you go.
they also had Pat Fraley play.
Academy nominated
That's a
actor.
stretch.
Well, hey,
I'm talking about guys with major roles. I mean, none of these guys are like. I'm just saying the quality of acting. You can't compare quality of acting of people in Transformers compared to like, huge movies that I don't have any examples right now. But the point is, my point is for this one is every single human actor to me was an improvement on their acting in the previous films. I liked every human character better in this one. Even though I am anti-human characters in Transformers films, I liked them all better. If you take Rosie Huntington Whiteley over Megan Fox, that's an improvement. John Turturro's character, not nearly as annoying to me. I like what they did with Josh and Tyrese, having them kind of on the edges. I thought that was an improvement. Even Shia, I thought was an improvement. So it just seemed to me that everybody I liked better in this movie.
Right. I'll
So
buy
I'll
that.
give them
Yeah.
all credit for that.
You know who can't act to save their own life? Even worse than Rosie? Buzz Aldrin.
Oh, you leave the astronaut alone, damn it.
He's
You
an
know,
old man.
Yeah, he has every right to be in any movie he wants to be in. I mean, he has earned that right. He has walked on the moon. I get it. But it's
I
like,
wonder if he's going to be a Men in Black 3. They're going back to the
Oh
60s.
god, don't give them ideas.
I wouldn't
It
doubt
was
it.
awesome that he was in the movie, though.
No, it was awesome, but he walks in and he's like, "Hello, Optimus Prime," and he says something like, "It's nice to meet a fellow space traveler." And it's like, dude, you've been to the moon. I mean, let me tell you about all the cool places around the moon that I've been to.
Right.
But he walks in and he's looking at Optimus Prime, but he's not. And everyone else in the room, who is an actor, by the way, is looking where they're supposed to be looking. And Buzz Aldrin's like looking
Waiting
over
for him
here
to
somewhere.
deliver his
Oh.
lines.
What happened is they told him to look at this bright light, and he's like, I can't look at that light. And everybody else is like, we'll go blind for it.
I don't, you
Yep,
know,
Buzz
I
Aldrin and
caught
Bill O'Reilly,
swerves.
both the two cameos.
Oh, the Bill O'Reilly, yeah, that was cool. I did like that.
That was funny. And
Yeah.
then he's arguing with Simmons as he's
Yeah.
getting his house
Yeah.
repossessed.
Well, they couldn't bring in Larry King.
No, that's I mean,
He
Larry
wouldn't.
King is not as bad as Bill O'Reilly is.
Well, they had to get somebody as far-fetched as Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah. I got to bring
You
up.
know what would have been really awesome if they put fucking Conan in there and took Conan's house away. That'd have been great.
Shut up.
Shut up.
But anyways, what are you guys thinking about the actor as far as like? I mean, Michael said his piece, but Mike or Steve.
I agree with Michael about Epps and Lennox. That's how you build character. Their characters have developed over the 3 films, unlike fucking Sam. You know,
I still hate that he's named Sam, by the way.
I do
It should
too.
be Spike.
It should be fucking
But
Spike.
but they did it right in the sense that if they reboot the series, or if they, because Shia wants nothing to do with the next one, they could use his cousin Spike Witwicky.
Oh God.
That's right. Jason Statham is Spike Witwicky.
Oh my God.
I swear to God, if he's associated with the franchise, I'm done.
He's not.
I'm not serious.
Simmons can nicely play the role of Chase now.
Chip
Oh
Chase.
wow. Oh wow.
He's an old Chip Chase. And
Oh my God.
It's low.
As far as the rest of
Alan
it, like
Ripley.
I liked Patrick Dempsey's character. I liked the way that was played out. The only time I even cared about the National Security Advisory chick.
That was the only person I didn't like.
She's
The
useless.
only time I cared about her is when she and Simmons had that thing at the end during the end credits.
Oh,
That's
like
the
her
only
character.
time I cared about. But I will say, over the 3 films, the moron that they usually put in charge of being in charge of, oh my God, you can't, like that jerk in Revenge of the Fallen. It was like, you can't do this, you can't do that. I will say, she's probably the best one out of all of them.
she came with her own built-in comic relief.
Yeah.
She had her little assistant, and she kept looking at her like, "All right, are we doing this now?" And she's like,
The
I
little
love
assistant
that.
was like a
Intern.
No, yeah, she was an intern, but I was gonna make a Cars reference. Damn it!
Oh, well, that's too bad.
Shut up. She's like the pit crew from Cars, the little pit crew
Hopefully
guys.
nobody gets that reference.
Shut up.
Nope.
Nobody asked you, Kevin.
"Oh,
As far as the rest of the cast, for me, it's all about the robots now at this point. I mean,
Well, then we could get into that after Steve
Yep.
has any comments on the actual human actors.
All
Any that you liked or didn't like?
right.
Oh.
Here we go.
Oh.
Lennox and Epps. Yes, I can see where they did get more character depth. That was fine. They advanced. They moved on. Whatever. Carly. Completely useless. Completely useless. Just, yeah. Shia. Baby back bitch. Patrick
That's
Dempsey
pretty-
as Dylan. It kind of reminded me of GB Blackrock from the comics. In a sense, he's a rich guy that,
Yeah, but GB
with-
Blackrock ended up being a good guy though.
but he worked with the Autobots, so this is his polar opposite. But he looked just like him.
The evil universe.
That's all I could think of when I saw this guy, and I'm like, okay. And then I just wanted him to get stabbed through the heart during the movie, so that I
Yeah.
didn't like him.
What
I
bothered
was
me
glad
about
Sam
this
kicked his
guy-
ass.
What bothered me about this guy is that the whole time he's like, "This isn't my fault. This was all handed to me. It was a client of my father's. I had nothing to do with it. I inherited it." And then he's just nonchalantly like, "I'm evil. I dig it." And you can't have it both ways.
He's a kiss ass to the robots.
But I also don't know how much I can buy Sam actually kicking that guy's ass.
But he did smack him in the head with a rock. And then he got thrown into the pillar, which electrocuted him to death. So,
Yeah.
so I could believe that it's death by proxy.
As long as it wasn't an all-out fist fight and he lost.
Yeah. The Witwicky parents, I could see where they were, useful during his job hunt. Beyond that, I don't care.
I love that. I love the parents. She comes first.
I don't like her, but
You know what? The
I-
first time I saw the movie, it didn't occur to me. It's like she comes first, as in, okay, her before me. And the second movie, it actually kicked in. Oh, she comes first. Ah, why
See, I
didn't
like
I
the
notice
parents, but
that?
I like the parents overall, but I also don't necessarily see the point of them in this movie. I mean, I guess they just wanted them to have them in all of them, but there was the least amount of reasoning for them being in this one out of the three films.
I would have been
Yeah.
disappointed if they'd skipped him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
like the characters.
John Malkovich in this, as useless as he was entertaining to say the least.
Yeah.
Just being, just seeing how Sam was kind of like, okay, you're not gonna give me the job I want, fuck you, I'm leaving. And then he's like, wait, and then just gives him a job. He's like, here's a bone.
Yeah,
And
I had mentioned
and then
before
he and then he gets tickled by Bumblebee.
what is up with that?
Bumblebee's like, come here, little human. It's like a person petting a dog. He just flipped over and he's like, hey, and he kicks his legs up in the air.
I think he was trying to fight him. Like,
I think he was, and the Bumblebee's like, I'll just blast you. He's like, I don't have time for this shit.
he had his gun in his face, like, I'm going to get you, you know.
And then he's just laughing like a madman, like, ha. So, we get to the FBI, CIA, whoever the hell it was, Francis McDormand playing. I hated that character. I hated the one that they had in Revenge of the Fallen, but I hated this one more.
Yeah. I can see that.
I liked when Sam was mouthy to her, because that's how I would be if I were in that situation. So I associated very well with that, but I didn't like her at all. Dutch, on the other hand, was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, Dutch was amazing.
There was no background information on him, but little bits were sprinkled in there enough to know that, yes, I like this character.
Yep.
He was just a little bit off kilter, like an upgraded, better version of Simmons.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
We've
I
all-
I would
Good.
tolerate this guy in future films
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
I think he
We-
balanced out Simmons very well.
Most definitely.
He was the yang to Simmons' yin.
We've all kind of like skipped over the big pink elephant human character in this entire movie.
Mr.
character
Wang.
Was, yes, a character that was like, this is the character that I cannot stand even more than
Oh,
Sam.
I must have blocked that out from my memory because I forgot he was even in this until you just
this
said that.
guy, in every movie he's in, mostly The Hangover, likes to pull down his pants. And every film he's in, Furry Vengeance pulls down his pants. Hangover 1 pulls down his pants. Hangover 2 pulls
Starts
down
with
his
his pants
pants.
Start with his pants.
He didn't
And
even pull him down.
yeah, and the monkey sucks him. But anyways,
I thought that actually, I would say that was the worst casting. That was just casting because he's popular right now.
yeah, I hated him with a passion. I was glad that he got thrown out of a window by Laserbeak. To be
Yeah.
honest, he played that part well, but I'm glad he died.
Yeah.
He didn't
When
even
I
get a
saw
chance
him,
to
I
shoot.
couldn't.
He
What?
had the guns drawn. He didn't shoot. He should have shot.
Yeah, he's playing like a gangster type thing, like "I'll kill you, motherfucker," and then he's like, "I'll just
Wang
wrap
shoots
this quarter."
first.
He's like, "I'll just wrap this quarter on you and throw you out the window." Dumbass. You
We
know,
all need
just,
T-shirts that say Wang shot first, and then
Oh,
But no.
that would be interpreted so wrong.
I know.
She comes first. Well, we got to make up our mind. Is it Wang shoots first or she comes first?
We could have it say something different on both sides of the T-shirt. So.
What about the voices? Anybody
I'll
wanna
let
start?
you guys start back over on that.
Go
We'll
ahead.
work our way back down.
We completely forgot about Kennedy.
Well,
Kennedy can't act either.
most of that was stock. A good majority of that was stock footage, though.
It was. They had.
I like how they recreated the stock footage, so it looked
I
like
did.
he was there while it was being filmed.
I
Yeah.
liked how they did the TV, like it was actual footage from the moon and actual footage from the TV that they showed people back in the 60s.
Yeah.
But I liked how they worked Nixon and Kennedy and all everything that they did that was based on
Ford was
other
there.
footage was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neil Armstrong, all of it.
Right. I liked it up until they actually tried to show Kennedy's face. Like Nixon, they didn't show his face. Obama, they didn't show his face.
But they did
Yeah.
that with W in the first film on the plane.
Right. They had him there, but they didn't show his face.
Ding dong.
Right. And I'll buy that. I like that. I think that's funny. But Kennedy, they showed his face, and it just looked really bad.
Don't
Yeah,
they
I've
know they're
seen-
supposed to stick with the back of the head?
Yeah, that was a mistake. They should have just stuck
Back
with
and
like
to the
this
left.
far shots.
Yeah, you went a little dark there. Sorry.
So onto the voices here. I like them all for the most part. I just cannot see Buster Bunny as Starscream. I'm sorry. I just can't see Charlie Adler doing
Dude, he played. I could have swore he played Starscream at one point. I know for a fact he played Cobra Commander.
Mhm.
He's been playing Cobra Commander for the last few years on random G.I. Joe stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, he's done them in all the live action movies, but no cartoons or anything.
Right, yeah. I don't mind that they just enlisted Frank Walker to do Shockwave for what little voicing Shockwave had.
Dr. Claw.
It was
Don't-
Dr. Claw. I wish
don't-
they would have.
Don't start.
I wish they would have put his vocoder on for the film,
Right.
or at least now that he's been upgraded.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about Shockwave, not Soundwave.
Even then, that kind of sounded like ass.
But what I was gonna fucking let me finish. What I was gonna
Walker
say
got
was,
to do Shockwave, really?
Yeah, he was Shockwave and
yeah,
Soundwave.
Frank Walker was Shockwave for what little
That
lines
wasn't
he
even
had.
English. I don't know what the
Frank
hell he
Welker
was
usually does
speaking.
not English. That's his specialty, is sounds in other languages.
See, Shockwave just had those little pinchers for a face, so he couldn't actually speak in English. He can only speak in whatever language those pincers make.
Hugo Weaving as Megatron, Hugo Weaving has 3 typecasts to himself. Mr. Smith, Megatron, and Red Skull. They're pretty much all the same character as far as his voice.
He's a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
Has many
He's
voice
got a
actors.
cool voice, though. It's
Debatable.
like Lance Henriksen. Lance Henriksen has the same voice in everything he does, but he's got a cool voice.
We'll get to that.
Alright.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Peter Cullen, it's Peter Cullen. Hasbro and Paramount are going to keep that guy on ice for every Optimus Prime thing ever needed.
Optimus Prime 50th anniversary figure.
Yeah.
He's 3 foot tall. He turns into a truck in your living room.
Watch
still
out,
sounds
people.
like Peter Cullen.
2015, there's going to be a rough patch. But anyway, Leonard Nimoy as Sentinel Prime, as I said earlier, all as I kept hearing out of the voice was just Galvatron. I'm very glad that Leonard came back and did a voice in the live action movie. I saw an interview with Michael Bay about it after the movie came out. Something about, they asked him about, like, Michael Bay's wife she's somehow
It's like her uncle, I believe.
uncle, nephew's, cousin's, aunt's, mother's dog. You know, it's that whole thing.
Did you throw a dog in there?
Yes,
He
I
did.
threw a dog in there.
I believe that he's married to Michael Bay's aunt.
Yeah, something like that.
I believe
I
that's
thought it
the
was his
story.
wife's aunt.
Yeah,
Or
it's,
his
yeah,
wife.
it's his wife's aunt or something.
Something like that.
I did not even hear, like, I'm a huge James Remar fan. I love that guy. He's a great actor. I did not even hear him as Sideswipe. I'm probably gonna have to watch the movie again and actually pay attention to see if I can hear his voice. But I didn't even hear him as Sideswipe.
I think
Wheelie,
he had one line.
yeah, that's probably why I missed it.
Yeah.
Wheeling and Brains. This is what Dark of the Moon is really the second film in this franchise for me. This is what the second film should have been. Brains is awesome.
God. What is this? Slingback? Slingblade?
No, Brains, dude.
No, I know the movie that voice comes from. It's
Oh,
like-
I don't know.
He's gonna
You know
kill
Wilson?
you.
yeah, it's that
He's gonna
voice.
kick your ass. We're gonna go throw these Decepticons in the toilet.
And I think it was a huge surprise to everybody that the wreckers were half Irish, half Scottish instead of NASCAR rednecks.
Thank God.
Yeah.
God, that would have ruined it for me.
I think he learned his lesson the first time. It's like, oh, everyone's gonna say that I'm using negative stereotypes for my characters, so I guess I better not be rednecks then. No, they sounded very much Australian to me. It's like the one guy sounded like a dreadnought.
And Jess Harnell as Ironhide, I've loved that since the beginning of the franchise.
Hmm.
Even though another unfortunate G1 homage, Ironhide got blowed up.
Oh, he didn't just get blowed up, but that's.
Yeah, no, I know, but I mean, it's just the way that it happened. It's 1986 all over again.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
I don't know. My favorite, to me, the voices that stole the show is Cullen, Nimoy, and Welker. Like, they make the movie for me. And first of all, Cullen and Nimoy having conversations together is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, those are two of the most epic voices of our generation talking to each other on screen, and that's just awesome. I don't care. I mean, I know you guys are going to disagree with me, but Frank Welker's Soundwave voice just, like, made me giggity. Like, I was like, that's the greatest thing ever. I know everyone likes to say it is the Dr. Claw voice, but you're actually not giving an accurate assessment, because you need to listen real closely to Dr. Claw versus Soundwave and their different voices. I know it sounds a lot similar, but he does do it differently, and I'm actually happy that they didn't do the vocoder. It would have sounded really cool with the vocoder, but for some reason, what they did to me worked, and I loved Frank Welker as Soundwave.
Next
Oh my God.
time, Gadget.
It's slightly different.
I can
know.
just imagine Dr. Claw / Soundwave saying, "Oh, Madbeak, what are we going to do today?" Something like that. Just call Laserbeak Madbeak, seeing as how Soundwave doesn't have a cat.
Yeah, but I mean, so I loved Frank Welker and Nimoy and Colin, and then I obviously loved Brains and Wheelie. To me, the rest of them almost I don't even remember them speaking.
Yeah.
Except for Megatron, I guess, but I like a lot
I like
of other
that
Megatrons
Dino
better.
had an Italian accent. You didn't catch that?
I barely, but to me, can barely remember Sideswipe, and I'm going to call him Mirage, Wheeljack, or the Wreckers. I can hardly remember them talking. I need to go see the movie again.
Yeah, I think each of them got like 2 lines.
Yeah. Although I wish they would have been able to name them Mirage and Wheeljack.
I think that Mirage / Dino should have been named Sideswipe, because
Yeah,
he's
that's true.
actually a red Ferrari.
That would have made more sense.
It would
And
have made a lot more sense.
as far as Q,
Wheeljack.
Wheeljack.
in the credits they do it's Q / Wheeljack. So
Yeah.
even though they didn't call him Wheeljack in the movie,
Although he is the weirdest looking Transformer I've ever seen.
I know.
He looks like Einstein.
They said they tried to illuminate his head to give like an homage to G1 Wheeljack's like lights by his head, but I'm like, you gave him hair.
That's what kills me is they call Sentinel Prime the Einstein of his generation, but Wheeljack actually looks like the Einstein of his generation. It's like, damn, is he ugly?
Sentinel Prime more so looks like Alpha Trion.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it
I
was.
could buy
when I
that.
saw the preview.
That's who I thought it was too. And
Right.
as for the voicing, like character-wise, before voicing, I like Prime, Sentinel, like just from the looks, Shockwave, somewhat Megatron, and some of Soundwave in this. The rest are kind of like meh. As for voicing, on the other hand, I would definitely have to say that I like Peter Cullen's performance. I like Leonard Nimoy's, Frank Welker, of course. I just the rest of them are kind of like you don't really hear too much out of most of them to really get a feel. I mean, other than like Wheelie, Brains, Starscream, Megatron, Ironhide. If you blink, you miss that he died. I didn't even catch that until the second time I watched it. I'm like, where the hell did Ironhide go? And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, he died? And then I rewatched the movie and I was like, oh yeah, this is where he died.
Yeah. Everybody died.
Yeah.
Pretty
All
much
fall
at the
down.
end, it's like that's how it ends. Everybody dies.
Yeah. What about
Except
the
for Prime.
characters? What about the characters that weren't voiced, like Laserbeak and Steeljaw and some of those guys?
Laserbeak had a voice to him.
He talked. Yeah, he sounded pretty cool actually.
He talked.
Well, I
couple-
mean, it
He
wasn't
talked to
a.
Deep Wang.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was Keith. Okay, I remember now. Well, I didn't even catch that Steeljaw was in it at the beginning. Like
Steel?
Yeah.
watching it the first time, I didn't catch that.
Laserbeak, it's not really the voice that I have a problem with. It's how many things does the damn thing transform into? Seriously, he's a copier, he's a TV, he's a toaster, he's a blender.
He's a pink
He's your
bumblebee.
mom.
He was doing a lot of scanning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think?
I like the pink bumblebee. I thought that was cool.
Out of all of the 3 of Soundwave's minions that they've used over the 3 films, Frenzy, Ravage, and Laserbeak, I honestly have to say I like Ravage the best, but Laserbeak was good. I don't dislike Laserbeak. Frenzy was just dumb.
That was back when everybody was all spiky pieces of tinfoil.
Yes.
That's for sure.
So that means the next movie, when they revive Soundwave, they're gonna have Rumble.
Michael Bay did his best to try to ruin any attempts at a new movie.
That's right.
They could
This is
technically
the last
revive
one.
it. I am glad the trilogy's done.
I'm glad too that someone else can have a shot at it now.
I'm so Bay should have never gotten Transformers.
No.
Yes,
It should have been Spielberg to get Transformers. Bay should have got G.I. Joe. I've been saying that since the beginning.
They should have got nothing. They should be shot.
He would have fixed G.I. Joe. G.I.
could've
Joe
done a
was a
good job.
clusterfuck. G.I. Joe was a clusterfuck. And you can thank the Mummy director for that. Bay loves his military. He would have doctored the shit out of the G.I. Joe.
That's true.
So, are we done beating the actors apart?
Yeah. I think so.
Yes.
I don't know. I have one thought that I wanted to throw out there, and that's
Okay.
Leonard Nimoy gets cast, and suddenly we have all of these Star Trek references in the movie.
Well, yeah.
I like what
it
they
makes
did.
me wonder. Well, yeah, did they write those in the cast originally, or I mean, did they write those into the script originally, or did Michael Bay sneak them in after the fact?
It was probably snuck in after the fact.
I don't
But
even
not
think
by
it was
Michael
snuck
Bay. He
in.
wouldn't have been smart enough to do that.
I just think that the writers said, yeah, we should put that in there. Or the animators were like, that would be really funny if we threw that in there. And
Yeah, I
it
guarantee that wasn't a
foreshadowing-
Michael Bay decision.
It foreshadowed the entire movie. You could have done without the entire movie with just being like, oh, that's what's going to happen? Leonard
Right,
Nimoy's
but
character's going to go batshit crazy. Okay, we're done.
I'm glad I
That's
didn't know
right,
he was
but-
going to go crazy, though, until I saw it.
I kind of figured.
Would any other voice actor sound right as Sentinel Prime saying the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few?
No.
But they purposely wrote that line for him.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it
Because
was
it was
put in there
Nimoy.
specifically for him. Yeah, it was actually a snippet of Spock
Mhm.
coming out of Bumblebee's radio. At
Yeah.
one point, he tells Sam, "You'll always be my friend."
I
And
would
that
have
was
laughed.
actually-
They would have. Go ahead.
No, that's what I was just gonna say. That was actually a snippet of his voice that was used there, and it's like
See,
that's
I like
odd.
that they did
That
that.
sounded like Sentinel Prime. Sam goes into Dylan's showroom and says, "This looks like the Starship Enterprise in here."
Yeah,
And it
they're all
did,
over the place.
J.J. Abrams Enterprise. Yeah. No, it did. It looked just like that. But I mean, there was a lot of Star Trek here, and it makes me wonder, if they had used like, let's say, they can't get Patrick Dempsey to do Dylan, so instead they get Johnny Depp. Are they going to sprinkle in a bunch of Pirates of the Caribbean jokes in there? Or Spike's,
Oh
Spike
my
goes,
God!
"Arr."
Stop making my brain hurt.
Oh, shut up.
Arr.
Steve,
Anyway,
what were you
hey-
going to say?
I was going to say it'd be funny if they put Grandpa Simpson as the voice of Sentinel Prime, but
That would be so awesome.
That would be hilarious.
Yes, it would.
That Megatron sounding like Homer because he was kind of pretty much that in this film.
I don't know. I really liked it. I liked having Nimoy as Sentinel Prime. They could have called him Alpha Trion, and it probably would have made a little more sense.
They probably should have called him Nova Prime, because Nova Prime's the one that went batshit crazy and sided with the Decepticons.
Well, the question becomes, how much of IDW's scripts can they steal?
Yeah, that's true.
Marvel or something.
I'm sure Hasbro owns the rights.
Well, they could apparently steal everything from Sunbow. They had no problem stealing scripts from Sunbow.
Yeah. I'm wondering at what point does that stuff become, I don't want to say public domain, but, is it fair game?
Tough to say.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, yeah, lots of Star Trek-y goodness in there.
Yes. What are your guys' thoughts on the CGI?
I liked it in this one, actually.
I want to say that in the second movie, they got the CGI about as good as it was going to get. I mean, they got the polygon count up there so high that everything looks photorealistic. And the big difference in this movie from the previous two is that they filmed everything slowly, in the sense that Michael Bay filmed as much of this movie in 3D with 3D cameras as you can, as he could, and you can't use that quick cam herky-jerky run around behind somebody camera movements that Michael Bay loves so much.
Thank God.
He was forced to film everything slowly, and the whole film benefited from that.
Yeah,
especially the CGI, because the first two movies you've got robots fighting and you're so close up and everything's moving so fast that you can't tell what's going on. The first movie, all the robots were gray. Like, I know who's fighting who, and
they're all jagged metal edges.
Exactly. The second movie, most of the robots had color, different colors, and when they're fighting, you could kind of tell what's going on, but it was like all blurred. It was horrible. This movie, Prime sweeps in and just cuts 5 or 6 Decepticons in half, and you can see everything. And there was no blurry, short attention span theater shot. It was, here's Prime, and he's cutting through a whole swath of bad guys. And it was very, very cool.
I agree. This is where they finally got it right. They finally started designing the bots to not look like little pieces of tinfoil, like you said. And they finally resembled Transformers, and like you said, with the slower cameras that helped the fight scenes and everything. It's just like bit by bit, after hearing all the backlash throughout these three, the first two movies, they finally started to get things right. Too bad it was only in time for the last movie.
I know we're on the CGI, but there's something I forgot to bring up earlier. You still have the G1 mistake of when Optimus transforms, where the hell does his trailer go?
It's not a mistake, though.
I know it was still there, but one of the things that kind of I thought needed like maybe an additional minute and a half was the scene at the end where Prime loses his trailer.
Right.
And then he goes back to find it, but we don't see him do that. We just see him go off, and then the other team goes off, and we see the other team doing their thing.
He just shows up in jet mode.
5 minutes later, he shows up. I'm Jet Optimus Prime. I'm going to fly in and kick your ass.
Yeah, a half a minute scene of him turning a corner and seeing his trailer and going, "Oh, there's my trailer," and having it open up and him suit up.
Yeah.
Maybe minute, 2 minutes tops. It wouldn't have hurt the movie at all, and it would have explained a lot.
I'm still very happy that they put the trailer in though, because it's like as soon as the movie started and as soon as I saw the first scene with him in his trailer, I'm like, yes, this is an Optimus Prime I can get behind.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I mean, he did use the trailer in the beginning.
I don't like how it opened up, though.
The big circular Stargate.
I mean, what was inside it, what it looked like after it was opened up, is nothing like any trailer I've ever seen open up as far as Prime's history. But I did love that the trailer was in there in the first place.
It's a subspace portal.
I wanted Roller to come out.
Around the bridge.
I wanted the guy with I wanted the roller and all his little minions to come out.
You know, a little blue like off-road ATV roller, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Here, Sam, get away in this.
Sam, get to the cube.
Get to the chopper.
As far as the CGI, I thought it was really well done. You know, for me, going to the movies, whether it's in 3D or not, it just I notice more things when I'm sitting here watching something on my computer rather than I do in the theaters. Like, it's nice that I can go to the theater and I can see all the great, you know, big screen, the way it's meant to be shown, this, that, and the other thing, everything else. But I get the general gist of movies when I go to the theaters, but I catch more when I'm just sitting here watching it.
Can't stand watching stuff on my computer. Anyway.
Shut up.
Well,
Yeah,
see, I
I'm
didn't
telling
watch
you.
mine on my computer. I plugged it into my plasma television.
There you go.
There you
So,
go. The way
I
to
watched
see this
HD.
movie is at the IMAX. Go to the
Yes.
IMAX and see it.
Agreed.
So we're
Yeah.
gonna move on to our favorite and least favorite scene in the movie.
Who's starting?
You can go.
All right. I'll start with my least favorite scenes. I got two of them for sure. The scene where Carly jumps on Megatron's lap and convinces Megatron to do her bidding. That was pathetic. Like, you're telling me Megatron is going to listen to this little female
Well,
human being ant?
what she did is she put a quarter in. She wrote him and then showed him the goods.
That was just a
This ain't
terrible
no-
scene.
This ain't no kiddie ride.
It was a terrible scene, first of all, because she can't act. Second of all, because it was just dumb writing as far as that's how this is what's going to solve everyone's problem is she is going to convince Megatron that Sentinel Prime's stealing his thunder, and that's going to solve everything. Like,
I think this scene would have made more sense if it had included an earlier scene that I felt was missing, where Sentinel Prime, you know, pimp slaps Megatron and says, "You're my bitch now. You go sit over there in the corner." And he does.
My
He gets up and
pimp
goes
hand
and
is
sits.
strong.
yeah, I mean, there was just something missing there, and it's just because they don't know how to write. But that's one of my least favorite scenes. My other least favorite scene is anything involving that Tremor Sidewinder
Oh
Decepticon
God,
monster
yeah.
that
The-
I have no idea what I was looking at the entire time. That was too much
the
like the
driller?
first two films. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
Driller
drill-
was way too much like the first film as far as I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what this thing is. This is not a Decepticon. This is not even a Transformer. This is like a robotic tremor worm.
Scorponok.
Sandworm.
And if they would have taken,
Tremors!
if they would have taken all the minutes they dedicated to that bullshit and given it to Shockwave instead, that would have been much better.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, then you would lose the entire building falling down. So.
Sure.
Shockwave could have
wouldn't.
done it somehow.
Shockwave could have just went.
Shockwave had a badass cannon on his arm.
He could have
Or should-
transformed to a gun and then shot it.
Exactly. He could have done something. But my favorite
Shockwave
scenes.
got killed by humans, so you know how
My-
badass could he possibly be?
Well, that's another fault. But my my favorite scene is anything involving Soundwave, especially when he's got all the bots tied up and is ready to execute them one at a time. For some reason, I just like that. I like hearing Soundwave's voice, and I like that. That's one of the first times where Soundwave is just complete badass instead of subservient to somebody else. So I loved that scene, and what's my other favorite scene? Anytime that probably when Sentinel Prime kills Ironhide, because
That's pretty rough.
that was just harkening back to the '86 animated film, and just made me think, man, Ironhide gets the worst deaths in history.
That was the
Huh?
scene where they were supposed to kill Skids and Mudflap.
Ah,
Oh God.
That
it's
was
just
in
like
the book.
Ironhide doesn't just die though. They do him wrong.
Yeah,
He
but-
melts. They gave him the what's that called? The cyber
Cosmic
rust?
Rust.
The cosmic rust. Yeah.
Yeah, the Cosmic Rust. The two worst Transformers deaths in this entire franchise:
Belong to
Ironhide
Jazz.
and Jazz.
Yes.
well, Ironhide twice.
Give me a
and-
piece.
How about two?
Yeah, that's for sure. Mike, what are your favorite and least favorite?
I'm gonna start with my favorite because just some of my least favorites are just. Um, one of my favorite scenes was actually Optimus doing the whole, we'll take the battle to them. I like that they gave him lines this time around that didn't have to turn into internet memes. Just oh my god,
We will kill them all is an internet meme.
oh my god, it's better than give me your face. I'll give you that.
It's so un-Autobotly.
But when he said "Give me your face," he says, "I'll have two," and he took Sentinel and Megatron.
Yeah, that's true. I don't mind that they didn't reuse "One Shall Stand, One Shall Fall." Um,
One shall stand, two shall fall.
No, like everybody shall fall.
I like what they did. I really just honestly like my favorite robot scenes with Optimus are honestly when he's driving. Just because of the damn trailer.
Yeah, the trailer's awesome.
My least favorite scenes, I'm glad that Laserbeak killed that douchebag, but that entire scene could have been cut out. With Deep Wang and all that crap.
I was gonna say, which douchebag are you talking about?
Well, the biggest douchebag of the film, which is even bigger than Shia LaBeouf.
Deep Wang.
What shot first?
Wang shot first. As far as the parents, I agree with you guys on they really weren't needed that much, but it's nice to have them in there. I will say that out of the three films, this is the only one that I really kind of came around and liked. Hit Sam's dad. I still cannot stand his mother. His mother is the worst mother
Agreed.
in the world. I hate that. You want to talk about bad acting? I would rather take Rosie Huntington-Whiteley and Megan Fox not being able to act compared to over-the-top weed brownie eating mom.
Oh, yeah, that should have been cut. They had way too much time on the second film. This film felt a lot better.
Yeah, no, it did go a lot better. So, I wish, like, I get Frank Welker is the voice god. I still wish that they would have found a way to hire David Warner and give Shockwave a little bit more lines.
They tried Corey Burton.
Well, yeah, but
he said take a hike. He says I only get 2 lines.
But overall, I could probably watch this multiple times. This is probably the only one out of the 3 that I could watch multiple times out of enjoyment. I like the other 2. They're okay. The first one was really good. The second one, when I first saw the second one in theaters, I really, really liked it because I saw a lot of G1. Like when they did the whole pyramid scene at the end about, oh, we're going to steal your son or whatever. I swear to God, it's changed. It's based off the episode Changing Gears where Megatron has the space needle. But Dark of the Moon, it's a solid movie for the most part, if you're not analyzing it. Somebody else go because I'm ready to choke here.
Steve, least favorite parts, favorite parts?
Well, my favorite part, I'd have to say, is I like the final battle where Prime is getting his ass whooped by Sentinel. And Megatron comes to save the day, and then Megatron's like, how about a truce? And Prime's like, how about not? And then just, like, rips his head off, and then takes out Sentinel, who's begging for his life. Prime's like, you're my bitch now. And then he's like, goodbye. You were the weakest link. Goodbye. And then blows his head away. And it's like, well, Prime just became the first Decepticon Autobot leader. And he's one-armed bandit. I also liked any scene that had Dutch in it.
Yeah.
Just because he was badass. I could deal with another film with him in it. And Simmons, too, because they toned him down quite a bit by using Dutch. So I can see that. I did like the fact that there were more robots in the battle. But Here's my least favorite parts. Any scene that had to do with laser wang. That's what I'm gonna dub that scene now. I hate laser wang. I hate the ending of the movie. How they just have Prime say something and he's the one-armed bandit, and then it just kind of fades out. It's like, really?
I will say about the ending of the movie, I did like that they didn't leave it open. That they did put a period on the movie where it's not left open. Where I am Optimus Prime and I send this message out to blah blah blah. I'm glad they didn't do that again.
I hate that just brought that to my attention. I hate the fact that they always had him do that, and then they never went anywhere with that.
Yeah,
They just
I am
had
Optimus
new.
Prime. Do not
They
come
just
back to this
had-
world.
They just had new characters already in the movie. They never showed like, oh, somebody incoming. Like, we've heard this message. We're coming in.
They never did show it, but they do mention it in this movie.
They mention it, but it's still like, why couldn't you at least spend a little bit of time showing that? I don't know.
Because the movie was it's 2 hours and 40. It's already long as it is.
Yeah, but half of it's not needed, so.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I like that they put a period on it, but I don't like that I guarantee Michael Bay was just like, fuck everyone. I don't want anyone to be able to take this from me, so I'm going to kill off every major character, so there's no way they can do anything with it.
And that's when we get the Beast Wars movie.
I swear to God, if they do that and they don't have the original Beast Wars cast, I will disown
would never happen.
Transformers.
He will disown Transformers.
They'd never be able to reassemble the cast.
I don't care. They would have to get Gary Chalk, McNeil, David Kay at
James
the
Blatt.
yes, at the bare minimum.
That's why that'll never happen.
You never know, but I truthfully, if they were to do a Beast Wars movie, they would have to do it in the style of how I don't know if you've seen the 2007 King Kong film, how they had the gorilla and the Tyrannosaurus Rex battling and duking it out, where they looked so real. That would work. And people for a while were taking that image of those two at the standoff, about to beat each other's ass, and they put Beast Wars the movie in the middle.
Nice.
Which it looked like a badass trailer.
They'll combine the new Planet of the Apes with the new Jurassic Park, and it'll look something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it would be interesting to see them do it in that style, provided that they never touched it and they did it correctly, and kind of keeping with the Beast Wars kind of mythos somewhat.
Yeah.
But you're adamant about the cast?
I would be pissed if they didn't use. I could see where they could swap out Gary. Technically, I could see where they could swap out Ian, but McNeil
Neil
and Kay.
Patrick Harris as Cheetor.
No.
What if, Steve, what if it's the exact same cast, but you are Megatron? Will you still disown the franchise?
We would be set for podcasting for life because Steve would get paid buku bucks.
That would be true.
Oh my
If
God.
I was Megatron, that would fucking rock. I would not disown it then, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Kay would jump at the chance if he got it. But
oh yeah.
But yeah, that would just depend. That's Beast Wars doesn't have the following G1 did, so that'll never happen.
I'm just hoping someone else gets a hold of it and completely redoes everything and has nothing to do with these three films.
And as far as like the before and everybody knows that listens to all things Transformers, this is one of my biggest pet peeves. They'll do a story or a rumor will come out like a month before the actual third film or fourth film comes out. Oh, Transformers 4, Transformers 5. My feeling when I walked out of the theater, I love Dark of the Moon. They need to step off Transformers for at least 2.5, 3 years before they do another film.
But the reason they won't is because the last movie and this
because of the
movie
money. I
made
know
more money than God.
I know it's because of the
They're not gonna
money.
walk away from that.
I know, but still.
They have finally found this fandom, and they now know that it's huge.
If they do a Beast Wars movie in place of rebooting this, they better fucking hire me.
All right,
will-
so
Me and Ben Yee, yeah, we would We would know Beast Wars in and out between the two of us.
Yeah. So I guess we can go on to a number of times we're gonna see it, plan to see it, what medium, IMAX, 2D, 3D, Real D. For me, I'm just waiting for the DVD release at this point. I don't like the theater going experience in general, so
I'm with you. I've seen it once in the theater. I will wait now until I can watch all three of them back to back on DVD to really get a good feeling of which ones I like the best. Because I have avoided watching any of them really multiple times. I'm waiting until I can see them all together.
Steve.
Um,
Oh God, yeah, Mr. Bootleg over there.
I've already seen it 2 times.
Yeah.
I plan to see it in the theater. Probably going to see it in 2D just because I don't care to spend the extra money.
Yeah.
And because it's not that big a deal. I'm going from big screen to bigger screen. It's not going to make that big of a difference.
Yeah.
I'll probably do that because my dad wants to see it. And so we'll end up doing that. And then I won't watch it again until I buy the Blu-ray disc. And then, like Kevin said, watch them back to back to back.
Now, I know I'm skipping ahead here in your little topics, but since we did mention the Blu-ray and the DVD, I'm looking at T-Formers. Transformers Dark of the Moon is blowing up the box office as the highest-grossing film of the year. The Blu-ray version of the disc will be ubiquitous 3-disc set, 2 Blu-ray discs for the film and special features, 1 DVD version of the film, and digital copy, according to the website's listing, Blu-ray.com. Another listing reveals that a 3D version of the film will also be available. The date falls in line with the release month of November for the trilogy box set. November 15th, 2011 is when Dark of the Moon is set to hit DVD and Blu-ray.
It'll be on sale the day after Thanksgiving.
Interesting fact about this, that they're going to have the trilogy pack, the Blu-ray 3D combo pack, and a collector's edition. Whatever the hell that means. Probably going to be all 3 films, but
Yeah.
But that's perfect for the Black Friday sales, so it'll have some type of deal that day.
Right.
And I mean, we've seen, and it's not just with the Transformers live act, it's with any big budget movie. Stores get, each store, Walmart, Target, FYE, every store gets a different exclusive. It's like, oh my God, we want you to buy the same movie 16 different freaking times just to get all the exclusives.
The
But this
DVD
one
sales
comes
for
with
this
a-
is going to be amazing, though. The DVD sales
Oh,
for this
yeah,
is going to
no
go out of. I mean, it's going to come close to like being up there at the top of all time, just because of the timing wise. I mean, how many people are going to buy this for their kids for Christmas?
Oh, I know it. Yeah, that's the thing.
It's going to be ridiculous.
Are you
Yes.
gonna wait for the box set?
Yeah, actually, I'll probably just buy them on iTunes.
I prefer a physical copy.
Me too.
Yeah, a box set and Blu-ray would be very cool.
I have
So-
the first in Blu-ray, the second in DVD, and then the third one will be in Blu-ray.
Why don't you just sell the first 2 that you have now and just buy the box set
Because
and Blu-ray?
it's a redundant thing, and I don't plan on doing that.
Well, you know the box set's gonna come with a bunch of bonuses and stuff too. If
The
not a
thing
special
is, how
features
often are you
figure.
actually going to watch that?
That's true.
That's how I think about it. I might watch them once in a blue moon every couple of years, but it's not important enough for me to buy a special edition.
Yeah, that's
Just-
kind of how I am now, where I just buy it, like if it's a movie that I want to see that's come out, I just either rent it or I'll buy it through iTunes or Amazon or something.
Now,
like that.
see, the difference for me is if it's got a shitload of special features or in terms of deleted scenes or that kind of thing,
Mhm.
I'll eat that up. But like behind the scenes stuff and all that other, I really don't care.
Yeah, you only
Unless
watch.
it's interviews with the voice actors.
Yeah, I mean,
Which I can't see them doing.
when
No.
I had the 2 DVDs, when I had the 2 previous movies DVDs, I only watched any of the special features. I watched them once, and that was it.
Yeah.
So we will switch into. Technically, we've already done kind of short comparisons to the other 2 films
Yeah.
and throughout this, so that's kind of moot. Mike, I believe you brought it or wanted to bring up the fact about the soundtrack at some point.
Yeah. Everybody who's listened to All Things Transformers knows how I've ranted about Linkin Park being the live-action Transformers band. Linkin Park hasn't had a good song since What I've Done and since their album Meteora. What's the name of the stupid song? Iridescent. Iridescent so does not fit this movie. It fits it as a end credit song. That's it. Other than that, the soundtrack itself, it's kind of silly. iTunes has, and I think this is probably the company that puts it out, not just iTunes, but the 3 tracks that I wanted to check out, I was going to buy individually, except iTunes said, we're sorry, you can't get these unless you buy the entire freaking album. Thank God I had an iTunes gift card and it didn't really cost me anything, so. The score itself, the Steve Jablonsky score, it's probably the best score he's done, I think, to any of the movies. I liked a lot of the battle scene tracks, and this is just listening off of iTunes previews for it. So I mean, it's okay. It's not worth what they're asking for a soundtrack, I don't think, though.
Yeah. But I think we'll jump into the final rating. We'll go back around from the beginning. What do you rate this film at, Kevin?
I don't have like a specific number in mind, but I rate it as the best of the 3 in my opinion. There's parts of the first 2 that I like and parts that I don't like. To me, this was an improvement on all facets. The humans I liked better, down to every single one of them. The robots are finally starting to look like Transformers instead of tin foil, like Michael pointed out. We got more dialogue from the Transformers. The battle scenes were easier to see, probably like Michael said, because of the 3D camera usage. So to me, this one ranks as the best out of the 3.
All I have to say is a 10, a fucking 10.
Okay.
It's a Billy Bob reference from Varsity Blues.
Epic
never
fail.
Seen that? Yeah. Anyway, I would probably give it an 8 out of 10 because it was just such a gorgeous movie. This is a 3D treat for the eyes. When they really do 3D well, when they film it with 3D cameras and treat it like 3D movie foremost, it looks really nice, and this is just amazing. Like Michael Bay strapped 3D cameras on everybody. The whole scene with the skydivers jumping out of the building, or jumping out of the helicopters
Plane.
next to the Willis Tower. The Sears Tower for most of the world, but they changed the name a year or so ago.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The whole scene with them. If you see it in 2D, you're not gonna get the same effect, but it just rocks in 3D. The whole movie is just a testament to how good 3D can be when you do it right. Number one, I've never seen a 3D movie look this good, except maybe Avatar.
Yeah.
And
Avatar
again, that's
looked
because Avatar was
amazing.
gorgeous. Yeah, it was amazing. But this was better, arguably better than Avatar, as far as the 3D usage goes. It was. Again, back to what Kevin said, it was the best movie as far as being able to see the robots looking good. The fight scenes were top notch. Everything was really nice. The ending was kind of, what the fuck? There was a. I'll bring it up now. In the book, Prime doesn't kill Megatron. Megatron says
They actually have the truce. Yeah.
Yeah, Megatron says, I think we should make a truce and team up to beat this guy. And Prime says, well, I think that's a great idea. And they defeat Sentinel. And then Megatron says, hey, my home planet's right there up in the sky. Man, if I go back? And sure, go ahead. Now off he goes. And there's your truce, and the Autobots live peacefully on Earth, despite the fact that they pretended to leave and most of the planet got nuked by Decepticons. But that notwithstanding, and the ending was completely different. I think the book's ending made more sense but
Yeah.
I
because
think that they should have used the book's ending then.
Yeah, they should have.
I think they should have, but it probably wouldn't have tested very well with audiences. Audiences want to see Optimus Prime kill everything that moves, and he even says as much. He says, "We will kill them all." And at the end, if he would have let Megatron go, well, that's just Peter Cullen talking out his ass. So kill them all, and the ending was like, oh, what the hell?
And the alien ships they came in on.
Yeah. Oh God.
Exactly. It's like there were giant plot holes. Like, all these Decepticons come out of the ground on the moon. How the hell did they get out? Where did they come from? It's like we all followed Megatron here, but we didn't quite get farther than the moon. I'm not sure.
So you rank it at 8 out of 10 then, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could have been. I don't want to say it could have been a 10 out of 10 because honestly, is there such a movie? I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's all a matter of opinion, but yeah.
I suppose.
Steve, what about you?
I would say that it's about tied for me with the first film. In some areas, it beats the first film, but in some areas, it falls short. So I'd pretty much give it about an 8 out of 10 out of movies in general.
If this could have been the first film, and the next two films could have built upon this amount of awesomeness, the world would have been a better place for it.
I agree.
Agreed.
Yep.
If they hadn't been so stubborn from the beginning and actually listened to people instead of waiting 3 films to listen to people.
Yep.
Yeah, that would have been the genius move.
Then again, Michael Bay's a dumbass that rapes giant metal bugs like Starscream. So.
And on that note,
he had to fail horribly before he could, do it the right way.
Yeah.
And still failing horribly, he still managed to make more money than God.
yeah,
Yes, he did.
he had to
Twice.
be spanked by the fans. But anyways,
Fan spanked instead of fan wanked. Oh my God.
yes,
This is about to go down a bad path.
I
Yeah, it is.
see that. Thank you for joining us here on All Things Transformers version 2.0. If you'd like to leave us feedback on the show, there are 3 main ways to do this. First, visit the website geekcastradio.com where you can comment on all of our different podcasts. Second, you can rate the show and leave feedback in iTunes. Or if you want your comments to be part of the future show, call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. And please remember to leave your name and the show you're leaving it for. Follow us on Twitter at Predacon Empire or at Beast Wars Megatron. My Twitter is SCP21. What are your guys' Twitters?
Mine's Optimus
Mike?
Solo.
TF2 and Mike.
And I'm Pecan CT Michael.
You can also become a fan of us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. Yes, I left that out. For now, I'm Steve Megatron Phillips with...
TF2 and Mike.
Kevin Optimus Solo Thompson.
And Michael Wilson.
saying thank you for listening, and in the words of Optimus Prime...
You've made a grave mistake.
Hey, I have an idea. How about we get back to the important topics, like the fact that I almost had my face cut off by a Decepticon? As a taxpayer, I'd like to lodge a complaint, as a matter of fact.
After all is said and done, you never walk, you never run. Got the moves, you know the streets. Break the rules, take the heat. You're at your best when the going gets rough. You've been put to the test, but it's never enough. You got the touch. You got the power. When our hell is breaking loose, you're in the eye of the storm. got the time.